Hello, this is episode 2 of the Scotland series where we'll be exploring everything from mystical Kelpies, debunking the Braveheart movie, looking at the Hogwarts Express drive-by, drive like James Bond in Skyfall, and more. Last week, we arrived in Edinburgh, tried Scotland's national dish, saw the magical clock which runs 3 minutes ahead of time, went to find Diagon Alley from the Wizarding World in Harry Potter, ordered butterbeer at the Magic Potions Tavern. Good morning! We woke up at 7 a.m. this morning to catch our bus at 8 a.m. I'm so excited for this 3-day tour. We'll start the Scottish adventure to the Highlands, and we found this 3-day tour which covers everything we wanted to see. We also thought a tour would be better since there are so many stories in Scotland and we didn't want to miss out on those.
Okay folks, in Scotland, when you're on the bus you must wear your seatbelt.
Our first stop is the Kelpies. These steel giants are the famous Kelpies. Our guide told us that Kelpies are shape-shifting water creatures that transform themselves into the most beautiful white horse you've ever seen. The coat gleams with polished silver and tempting travelers to get on its back or like stroke its mane.
And when you touch it, your hand gets stuck, and then your other hand gets stuck trying to free your first hand, and then your feet get stuck. You'll like try to pry your hands off with your feet, and then you have both hands and feet stuck. Then it basically goes back into the water and drowns you, and then it consumes your soul. So that's the story behind the Kelpies. We decided to take a tour. Initially, we considered driving here on our own, but then we were thinking that really wouldn't know what we're actually looking at. We'd be like, okay, hill, a mountain, very pretty. But we thought we would get cultured a little bit and join a tour so we actually know the stories behind it or the history. And the guy that we have is super cool. He's so funny. He's like in a full-on traditional Scottish outfit with his kilt and everything.
To the Highlands, we passed by the Stirling castle. The legendary figure William Wallace used tactics to fight against the English even though his forces were outnumbered. So today the castle stands as a testament to a nation's fight for freedom. He told us more about William Wallace and the actual Braveheart, who is Robert the Bruce, not William Wallace like indicated in the movie. William Wallace was actually a symbol of resistance, but Robert the Bruce, crowned King of Scots in 1306, led a long struggle against English rule and faced many defeats and setbacks, but his determination secured the Scottish independence ultimately. His willingness to sacrifice for his nation made him a true Scottish hero. All these stories already made going for the tour the best decision ever. This tour is going on really well so far. We're being entertained by Scottish music or songs by Scottish artists, and it's also so entertaining to learn about the Scottish history and listen to the stories our guide shared. He also has like an amazing Scottish playlist that has been playing during the tour.
making a pit stop right now. We're at this place where it's so pretty. And seriously, every single place that we come to or every single place that we stop at, there is a little stand. So you can always get your coffee, food, snacks, whatever really. But this place is so pretty. I mean, look at that. Okay, I'll get a hot dog.
Take card also.
We then drove along Scotland's most dramatic scenery. You might actually recognize this in the Bond movie Skyfall. It's the scene where James Bond and M have a conversation overlooking the Scottish landscape.
Now I realise that in that scenario that makes me Daniel Craig. That's a bit of a stretch, you know. We're going to have to use our imaginations here.
It's so incredibly beautiful here. Some of the rugged terrains reminded us of Iceland actually, which is also really beautiful, but it has like a whole different vibe there. I read that the three dramatic peaks are called the Three Sisters of Glencoe. They were formed by ancient lava and glacial erosion, which led behind these stunning formations. Our guide also told us that there's actually quite a dark stain on Scottish history.
But as beautiful as it is, Glencoe does have a dark tale to tell. And that centres around the Massacre of Glencoe.
During a bitter winter, Captain Robert Campbell led his soldiers into the valley seeking shelter and a warm meal. There's a Highland tradition called the guest rites, where clans would offer their hospitality to travelers, even those from rival clans, as part of a sacred duty to ensure safe passages through the rugged terrains and the rugged regions. So even though the MacDonalds and the Campbells weren't the best of friends, the MacDonalds gave Captain Robert Campbell and his troops warm beds and food for their starving bellies. And for weeks they built on like a fragile trust because they didn't really like each other, right? But then one night in February, that trust was completely broken and Campbell's men actually slaughtered 38 men, women and children in their beds. The MacDonalds, with their homes burning.
Now, some of them did manage to escape. They went up to the hills here, but they were all in their bedclothes, and another 42 of them died of exposure. Now, this was one of the worst things that happened in the clan system. Not because they killed the MacDonalds, clans were always fighting.
And this left an absolute dark stain on Scottish history, as it wasn't just a killing, it was basically shattering the Highland tradition of guest rites, a sacred code of hospitality which was completely trampled upon. And our guide told us that if you're a MacDonald, the fishermen here would take you over to the island over there to pay your respects to the MacDonald grave. But until today, the Campbell name isn't a very popular last name in this region. Currently here at this spot called Glenfinnan. We just ordered some sandwiches. All of the seatings are outside. We found ourselves a little bench here. Oh. I just can't get over how peaceful and beautiful it is here. I mean, just look at this. It looks like a wallpaper that they use on those OLED TV displays. I'm trying to capture its beauty, but the entirety of it is not coming through the camera's lens. You absolutely need to come here and see this for yourself because it's just so dramatic. I love it.
Yeah, so you have this, right?
Yeah. There are tons of people already staying here, waiting for the Jacobite steam train, aka the Hogwarts Express. Remember that scene from Harry Potter, the one where Hogwarts Express blows steam and whistles as it crosses the bridge? This is it. It still pulls vintage carriages. We didn't manage to ride on the train this time around, but it's definitely on my bucket list for the next visit for sure. There's a rough estimate when the train will cross the bridge, but it's anywhere from 3 p.m. to 3:30. So I'm constantly like, I think I hear something. And then it turns out to be just a car zooming around the corner. But around 3:15, we actually heard the train.
This is the Commando Memorial, not too ancient actually. It was completed in 1952, which shows 3 commandos wearing a typical World War II attire, facing south towards Ben Nevis. The training at Hairy Castle was notorious and was designed to push men to their physical and mental limits. They had these speed marches where they had to carry heavy packs and march through the rugged Scottish Highlands. And then they also had to swim through cold water and train to function with minimal sleep and so on. This was where boys were broken and rebuilt, where weakness was purged and resilience was forged. When they finally emerged, their bodies were scarred, minds honed, and they became commandos, an elite special force unit that are specifically trained for unconventional warfare and often make independent decisions and improvisations.
So at the right hand side there, tails of Loch Ness.
That's the Loch Ness over there on the right. Loch actually means lake in Gaelic. The waters here are actually really dark, and it's said that you can't really see anything if you swim under there. So the story started in the 6th century when a beast attacked a swimmer. Over time, tales of a long-necked creature that lives in the Loch Ness spread. Then in 1933, a photograph named the Surgeon's Photograph showed a long neck emerging from the loch, which scientists thought was a giant eel or something. And actually in 2019, a team of scientists did a DNA analysis of Loch Ness and found that there's a significant amount of unknown data in the waters of Loch Ness. So there are some species that live in the Loch Ness that aren't recorded yet. But then again, the Loch Ness is really deep. It's about 2.5 times the Statue of Liberty from base to torch. Maybe Nessie is real, maybe it's not, but the story definitely lives on.
Groundkeeper, he's gardener.
Yorkshire pudding. I got pork belly. This is, I guess, roast beef, and this is white. I think he said it's white pudding. And then this is roast potatoes, applesauce, red cabbage. I don't know what this is, and gravy on it.
Anyways, that's all the adventure for today. I hope you enjoyed the brief history of Scotland as well as the stories. I certainly did. To continue on the next adventure, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Next week, we'll visit and listen to the stories of Urquhart Castle, visit the place where Bonnie Prince Charlie was hiding out dressed as a woman, learn the stories of the fairies, and head into the famous Isle of Skye. See you next week. Bye!